But let's start with what's catching a lot of folks' attention, which is John McCain saying, well, Hamas would be really happy to have Barack Obama as the candidate and as the next president of the United States of America. I actually believe, and here comes the interesting and surprising part, that there is validity in discussing this. Now, why do I say that? Not who does Hamas want to win. I don't give a damn who they want to win. That's not my concern. But whose victory would serve Hamas's purposes more and who would serve it less? Now, that, I think, is actually a very legitimate discussion. Now, some people might say, hey, it's fear campaigning. But, no, the thing is, there's no reason why national security isn't a legitimate issue and that we should be afraid of taking on the Republicans in national security. If anybody, should run a fear campaign, meaning America should be scared of how they're going to handle national security, the Democrats should run against the Republicans. I mean, look at what they did to national security. They've done a terrible job with it. And funny enough, Hamas is the perfect example of it. There's a great story called The Gaza Bombshell in Vanity Fair that explains how George Bush's policy 100% helped Hamas gain control of the Gaza Strip. He organized a coup by Fatah against Hamas, Bush did, after he did elections that helped put Hamas into control in the first place. Nobody else wanted the elections but Bush, and Hamas won the elections. Who does Hamas want as president? Definitely George W. Bush. I don't know who they want. I don't care about that. I should clarify. Who will help or who has helped Hamas more? The Republicans. No question. Okay? So one, they did the elections that put Hamas in power. Two, then they did that coup. But it was a failed coup. And Fatah lost and Hamas won. Is that a legitimate issue? Hell yeah. Should the Democrats be scared of that? I mean, come on. This is part of the problem, people. Why would the Democrats be afraid of that? They should love that issue. They should say, John McCain, thank you so much for bringing that up, and let me pound you with it. John McCain is awful on the issue of Hamas. If we follow John McCain's philosophy, which he clarifies, as he's talking about this, and says, I'm Hamas's worst nightmare. You're an idiot, is what you are, okay? You and tough guy, bravado speaking, George W. Bush is actually their best friend. You pretended to, I'm not going to talk to them. All right, well, then they took control because you wouldn't talk to them and you wouldn't help their opponents in a meaningful way. Instead, you helped them in a way that led to their ass getting handed to them. So, Barack Obama has to change the whole focus of this conversation. He can't play defense on this. He's got to play offense. He can't go in and say, we shouldn't talk about Hamas because that's not fair, and, because, it's fear, and the Republicans will definitely win if we talk about how scared people are going to be because of national security. Why would the Republicans win based on that? The Republicans suck at national security. They're like that cop we talked about in the post-game show, doing fun and interesting things with cows. That's what they did with national security. They got underneath a cow. Okay? If Obama was strong and handled this the right way, okay, and, people might say, hey, it's over the top, and Cenk, you're always over the top, whatever. But listen, you've got to go over their top. You can't keep ceding this ground to them. If I was Obama, I'd come out and say, I want to thank John McCain very much for raising the Hamas issue. Now, let's talk about how badly George Bush and his Republican helpers in the Senate, mainly John McCain, gave the Gaza Strip over to Hamas, and why we can't have a Republican in the office. I don't mean to do fear tactics here, but I got to warn the American people, having another Republican in office is dangerous to your safety, because they help Hamas. What happened now? Oh, what? They can say it and I can't? Well, how do you like me now? Now I am. I'm saying Republicans help Hamas on a daily basis. Now, they got their talk, their worst nightmare. George Bush said that he was Osama bin Laden's worst nightmare, then became his best pal. Never went after him. Said, I'm not concerned about it. Well, I want to get it alive! Bullshit. Where is he? He's completely alive, and he's not. We don't have him in custody. He's sitting in Pakistani territory drinking tea every day. Probably having crumpets with it. They suck at national security. As long as Democrats keep running away from that issue, they're going to keep losing.